Good evening, friends. I'm very happy to be with you tonight and to bring, I hope, a word of encouragement to you all from the word of truth. And I'm going to read one of the Psalms, the Psalm of David 108, Psalm 108, and share a few thoughts with you from it. It says, "O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, even with my glory. Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reacheth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand, and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, who hast cast us off? Wilt not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies." Friends, I'm going to mention 3 points this evening. First of all, the painful path to victory, the powerful pledge of victory, and the plaintive plea for victory. We would love to see the triumph of the gospel and glorious victories over the powers of evil and the forces of Satan. And we're encouraged from this psalm to expect such victories. Verse 13 says, "Through God we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies." The painful path to victory. This is a composite psalm made up from Psalms 57 and 60, or portions of them. Psalms taken from two very different experiences in David's past. Let's remember that this is the experience of the Lord's anointed, the anointed of the Lord. And so we have a Messiah, a type of Christ, the final anointed one. Let's remember that the original purpose for the writing of the Psalms was, well, perhaps we could see it hinted in verse 2, where it says, "Awake, psaltery and harp." These were two musical instruments commonly used among the people in their folk music. We see that David took up a harp as a shepherd, and he used it in the courts of Saul. And so these psalms were sung, you might say, as folk songs. What happened was that David seized hold of the rural culture of his time, where people could not read. They were far from Jerusalem, the seat of worship and government. They could not write. They scarcely knew the Pentateuch, the Bible of their time. And this ignorance had persisted since the time of the judges. Now David broke through this ignorance and darkness with these divine songs, which captured the imagination and hearts of the people. One would be repeated as he sang. It would very rapidly spread from town to town, from village to village, and so the word of truth and divine light would be shed right across the nation. Something similar happened in Scotland at the time of the Reformation. When John Knox came back from Geneva, he brought with him a psalter, a psalm book. He went to the schools, which of course were for boys in those days, and he taught these boys how to sing these psalms. And then when the people gathered for worship in the churches, again, they couldn't read or write, most of them. But these boys were sprinkled through the congregation, and when the psalm was announced, they sang, and very, very quickly the people captured the message and the words of these psalms. And they went out everywhere singing these psalms throughout the nation. And this was possibly the major instrument that God used to bring the truth to every village, to every home throughout the nation, and it was transformed. And this is the way that David is using each of these psalms. And so in the case of this one, probably in the latter days of his reign, he has looked over the days past and he has chosen out these two diverse psalms. One from his time in the midst of harrowing danger and doubt, when he was flying from Saul, and as he meditated there in the cave of Adullam, he went over his troubles and plaintively expressed them to God in Psalm 57. And then he came by the Spirit of grace to a bright certainty and is able to say, my heart is fixed. He has come to an immovable conviction based on the character of God. Thy mercy is great above the heavens. Thy truth reaches to the clouds. God cannot fail him. The covenant promise has been made. Nothing can prevent its final triumph. We, friends, have the same assurance today. We are in Messiah's church. His cause is unconquerable. And then quickly, a pledge of victory. David now takes up the song which was written when he was enthroned as Jehovah's king in Jerusalem. He finds the whole heathen world rises to try and extinguish his kingdom. So, friends, we feel today the cause of Christ is facing total opposition on all sides. We're facing extinction sometimes, we feel. How feeble our resources seem against all the levers of power being moved against us in governments, in media, in entertainment, in false religion, fake morality, atheism. David launched successful strikes when he was facing these foes in several directions, but he must have been asking, where's the next attack coming from? Looking back on these times, he might feel some surprise. He said, where did I get the confidence from? Now he's able to repeat that confidence received from his God and put it together into this psalm for his people to remind them of God's sovereign purpose and pledge for his people. Yes, God spoke decisively into the situation. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, over Edom I will cast my shoe. Who dares dispute my sovereignty and my covenant obligations? So then, at the end of the psalm, we have this plaintive plea for victory. You might think, well, it's all confidence now, but there's something troubling David, and it's something that troubles us. Give us help from trouble, he says, in the continual cry. Isn't that not the continual cry of the church? Without an answer, we know our cause is lost. As we've proved again and again that human help is inadequate, it's useless, it's vain. On the other hand, we have discovered that God seems to desert us. His church is mercilessly ravaged, infiltrated, tormented, defeated by satanic enemies. But the heart of long experience, that heart of David, has proved that these are deliberate in the purpose of God, deliberate temporary setbacks designed by the captain of our salvation to prepare us for the time of deliverance, when he will tread down all who arrogantly challenge his heavenly power. When a Stephen goes down, an Apostle Paul is raised up. When a Wishart perishes, an ox prevails. When a cross is endured, a resurrection succeeds. And so I close, friends. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, ever abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Through God, says this psalm, we will do valiantly, for it is he who shall tread down our enemies. A painful path to victory, a powerful pledge of victory, a plaintive plea for victory. Friends, this perhaps is an example for us tonight. May the Lord bless you.